Yesterday's election could serve as a warning for Democrats. After months of debate, the party is still working to pass two pieces of legislation: President Biden's Build Back Better plan and the bipartisan infrastructure bill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said in a letter House Democrats will add paid leave back to the Build Back Better plan. That social spending bill. Paid leave was cut when the bill was being scaled down. For more on this, I want to bring in Congressman Andy Levin. He represents Michigan's 9th Congressional District and is the Deputy Whip of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Congressman Levin, welcome. First, I'd like to talk about the election results. CBS News has projected Republican Glenn Youngkin will win the governor's race in Virginia, and we're still watching a very close governor's race in New Jersey. What is your take? Is this, as some pundits are suggesting, a wake-up call for Democrats that they need to get legislation through Congress soon so voters know they're working for them?
No, it's not, Tanya. These are races in two different states. I think Governor Murphy will prevail in New Jersey. But these races were not about legislation in Washington. You could see, if you want to take Virginia, that the Republican base was mobilized and the Democratic base wasn't. All this talk about local schools and so forth. And so the Democrats, it's a wake-up call that we need to be campaigning in the grassroots every year and every month. And so that's always a good political lesson. But it's not really about what isn't happening in Congress. I doubt many Virginia voters were paying attention to the sausage making in Washington.
Right. So you're saying that, the takeaway then for the Democratic Party is that they just need to do more grassroots organizing and campaigning ahead of next year's midterm elections then.
And that, this was a question of turnout, right? The Republicans did a better job than the Democrats on turnout. And so if you look at what voters are going to be reacting to in November of 2022, they'll be thinking about how they got child care that allowed them to go back to work because we passed Build Back Better, which we will do soon. They'll be thinking that their 3 or 4-year-old got a spot in preschool, or that their elderly parent was able to get off a waiting list for home-based care because of Build Back Better, that their public housing unit got repairs, or that they got health care, or we fixed their roads and bridges. So we're going to get this bill, these two bills, the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the Build Back Better Act, passed. And that's what voters will be focused on, next November.
All right. So this is, of course, the legislation that everyone is watching. As you said, President Biden's Build Back Better plan and the bipartisan infrastructure bill. The fates of these two bills seem entirely intertwined at the moment. So when do you think House Democrats will be ready to vote on both of these bills? We've been hearing close. We're almost there for quite a few days now. Are we talking a week out, a few days? What's the timeline looking like now?
Well, we really are getting close. I can tell you that, Tanya. I mean, we are wrapping up final details. As you know, after the president came and visited House Democrats last Thursday, the Progressive Caucus virtually unanimously voted to say to the president, we've got your back. We will vote for both of these bills. We want to finish them up. There's good news, breaking news, that we might get some paid family and medical leave back in there, a huge priority for many of us. So we're going to keep fighting for the best bill possible right to the closing whistle. But that whistle is coming very soon. And I hope we vote on both bills yet this week in the House, myself. If not, it'll be early next week, because we are really getting to the finish line. And it's going to be transformational for the American people. Absolutely.
Can you share, though, what the specific sticking points are at this point? Because it's interesting hearing that stuff is getting put back into the bill, when the understanding is that you've got two senators who are saying they don't want anything, they don't want this bill to get any bigger. So where are the sticking points right now?
Well, we really have gone from a $3.5 trillion package, which wasn't the Progressive Caucus proposal, it was the President of the United States proposal, down to half that size, right? 1.75 to 1.85 trillion, about half. And so the few most conservative members of the Democratic caucus in the House and Senate got, pretty much what they wanted in terms of reducing the size of the bill. But we were able to keep things in a way that will still be, they'll be whole, they'll be transformational. So the last sticking points, I think you heard recently we announced that we have agreement on a way to negotiate for prescription drug prices. That was very important to many of us, so I hope that is finished. Now we're finishing this piece about whether we can get something in there on negotiating prescription drug prices. This question of the state and local tax deductions is getting worked out. So these are some of the final things that we're working on. But look, Tanya, universal pre-K, child care that's affordable for all families, home care for our seniors, the biggest investment ever in affordable housing for Americans. By far the biggest legislation tackling climate change. I wish we had gotten it done before the president went to Glasgow, but right. Joe Manchin didn't want to get it done by then. So we're the sausage making could be pretty weird looking, but this is going to be a fantastic outcome for the American people. Well, and I'm really excited to campaign on it for 2022. If people are going to forget about Virginia, we're going to campaign about all that we accomplished for the working people and the poor people and the middle class in this country.
It sounds to me that you are still very excited about the current version of the Build Back Better plan, even though it has been scaled back so significantly, as you pointed out, to $1.5 trillion. We understand. We understand how the sausage making is done. So we understand this is a direct result of the Democrats' razor-thin margins. We get it.
Yes.
But are you happy with the bill in its current form, considering that some of the stuff that you personally were fighting for, like 2 years of free community college, are no longer in it?
You are so right, Tanya. I mean, I'm the author of the America's College Promise Act, which, can you imagine, for just a sophomore in Congress, the president chose my bill as his vehicle. His wife, the First Lady of the United States, is a working community college professor, and we lost that. So I'm deeply disappointed on that. I want 12 weeks of paid leave. I wanted to include not only hearing benefits, but vision and dental in Medicare. Okay, all that said, if you took one or two pieces of this alone and said, we're going to have universal pre-K for all 3- and 4-year-olds, boom, I would say, wow, what a great accomplishment for Democrats, as you mentioned, without one Republican supporting us. And as somebody who has been a climate change and environmental activist for decades, we really are going to take the first big steps here to transform our economy towards a renewable energy economy. So I'm darn proud of what we're accomplishing, even if I have some disappointments. You shouldn't sign up to be a legislator or if you're not willing to make a few compromises. Democrats are taking huge strides for justice in this country, for the working moms and dads in this country, for the kids of this country, and to save life on Earth as we know it on this planet. And I am very happy to go and campaign in November of 2022 on these accomplishments in this bill. Disappointments aside.
All right, let's put aside also Republican support for the moment and just talk about Democratic support that's needed. Earlier this week, Senator Manchin said that he wanted more clarity on the economic impact of the Build Back Better plan, the large social spending package. So what is your reaction to that? And what would you tell Americans who say, yeah, hey, how is this going to be paid for? And if it were not for Senator Manchin's objections, would this be passed already?
It absolutely would have been passed. 96% of Democrats in the House and the Senate were ready to pass the president's $3.5 trillion proposal, which we worked out in great detail in the House. So here's a few things to say to the American people. Number one, we are going to pay for every penny of this by, shockingly, having the wealthiest people in this country and the big corporations pay their share of taxes in this country, and by empowering the Internal Revenue Service to collect taxes that those wealthier people owe. So we're going to pay for every bit of this. And in terms of Senator Manchin, he can raise whatever questions he has. That's fine. But this package is going to lower inflation. for many reasons, and a few dozen Nobel Prize-winning economists have pointed that out. So I think the bill will answer all of his questions in terms of it's fiscally responsible and it's responsible in terms of the macroeconomy. This is going to put millions of Americans to work in union jobs, middle-class jobs, family-supporting jobs, and it's going to lower inflation by improving supply chains, by putting people back to work, by helping employers, get the workforce they need.
And one last quick question, though. Can you guarantee, as the president has said, that American families making less than $400,000 a year will not see their taxes go up?
Yes, we are sticking with the president. That's the plan he made. Personally, Tanya, I wouldn't mind if people making $200,000-300,000 pay a little more in taxes. I'm into everybody paying their fair share. But the president said that. I'm loyal to this president. I think it's politically fine to do it that way. There's plenty of money to raise among the people who make $500,000, $1 million, and up beyond that. They have not been paying their fair share. We have the worst crisis of income and wealth equality in this country in 100 years. So we are not going to raise taxes on people who make less than that, per Joseph R. Biden.
All right. Well, Congressman Andy Levin, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tanya. Take care of yourself.